Hey everyone, it is Bill, and you're tuned in Three Questions and a Song, episode number 97, where the title of the podcast tells it all, except it really doesn't because it's going to be way more than three questions. With me tonight is Matt from Dragonfly Effect. I am not even going to attempt to say your last name, but you could do it if you'd like.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt Madrick from the band Dragonfly Effect.
So I first became aware of you guys a couple weeks before I showed up and took pictures of you at Halloween.
Yeah.
Been following you on and off since. You had recently released a song that we're going to feature tonight, Infected.
Yes.
And is that, if I remember correctly, that's like part of an upcoming project?
Yeah, so Infected, it's part of a greater set of songs. We're basically going to do like an EP. I'm still like gearing towards like an album, but the direction right now is to release an EP here in the next coming months.
And I'm going to get into who played on it a little bit later.
Yeah.
We're not going to. So let's start off with a few of my off the wall questions.
Yeah.
We'll start with the build a scene official question, which is who's your Dave Grohl, which I may have asked you before. That what I mean by that is who do you want to go up on stage with and play one of their originals?
I actually already got the chance to do that, but I would love to do it again. I got the opportunity to perform with Breaking Benjamin a couple different times. That was back almost 4 years ago now. Holy crap. Wow. But for me, that was like the ultimate bucket list item. But it's still on my list of going back up there and doing it again. It's just the opportunity hasn't presented itself again, and just logistics and craziness. But definitely Breaking Benjamin for sure still.
Recently, I was I don't even know how you would describe it. There's a show called the Ludini Rock and Roll Circus.
Okay.
And it is another Pittsburgh-ish podcast as far as location wise.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about guitar-driven rock.
Yeah.
And they do their podcast using Zoom, and they invite a handful of people to join the Zoom, and every once in a while you get to talk. And I was in there and they were talking about heritage bands. In other words, bands that have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And are still out there touring, but haven't made any new music.
Yeah.
And it came up, the question that came up was Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and Kiss. Would you want to see new music from them? And I'm a huge Kiss fan, so I'm not going to tell you what I said, but what do you think?
I mean, out of that selection, I would definitely like to see something new from Kiss, just because like I never really got into Kiss too much, but they've always really kind of like interested me in like the sense of like just like their whole stage persona and the everything that they have going on. And they have honestly it's pretty honestly good music, and it would be awesome to see something fresh and new from them, just considering the stature that they're at and the level and stuff like that,
They before they went back to the makeup, they attempted to make a I guess kind of a grunge album.
Oh really?
I wish I could remember the name of it. Carnival of Souls.
Okay.
I own it somewhere. That'll tell you what I really thought of it.
Gotcha.
But I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to stay relevant.
Yeah, for sure.
So my answer for those three bands was I thought Motley Crue and Kiss should just kind of fade off.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I like them both.
I
see Motley Crue live twice. They are making new music right now. I don't know if you saw that in the news.
Oh, really? I did not see that.
With Johnny Five.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Five.
Yeah.
John Five, whatever. And out of the three, I think I'd like to hear new Def Leppard. And I've seen them live twice too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that brings me to another question for you.
Yeah.
It's segueing away tonight. If you could sit down with any songwriter in the history of the world and write a song with them, who would you want to write with?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I don't want to. I don't want to sound boring and say Breaking Benjamin, but um,
Hmm.
probably honestly maybe like Freddie Mercury from Queen, just because of like how particular he was with certain things, and like I really like to get to see the process of how he would construct things and how he would figure out his lyrics and his melodies and stuff like that. And I think that'd be a really insightful thing to actually do with him.
Um, so along the lines of the Kiss show, not the music, the show part of it, you guys have a bit of a storyline that goes along with your band, correct?
Correct.
And I think we discussed it a little bit on. Did we do the Pennsylvania Rock Show or 3 questions in the song last time?
We did the Pennsylvania Rock Show the last time I
Okay.
was on here.
So why don't you give these listeners a little bit of insight into what that storyline is?
Yeah, for sure. So Dragonfly Effect, we have this prevailing backstory that follows basically like a futurescape kind of timeline and environment, where there's this corporation that kind of assumes control that was originally predicated and founded on the notion of helping people out with different things and curing the human condition and stuff like that. But ultimately what ended up happening is it became a tool of enslavement. Then they were referred to as the Dragonfly Corporation. So we, as part of the Dragonfly Effect, we once believed that message that they were pushing of like, being a part of a bigger, greater community and blah, 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 blah. But we soon realized that it was just a means of trying to control and so on and so forth. And we became the anti-movement of what the Dragonfly Corporation was pushing out. We became the resistance. And that's our prevailing, running catchphrase, like join the resistance, fight back, believe in yourself. And so it's all set in the future, this post-apocalyptic Fallout dystopian kind of, backstory universe kind of a deal.
It just made me think of a meme that I read the other day. It said, due to the current conditions, all post-apocalyptic books will now be in current events.
Fitting.
If you could sit down with any 4 people in the history of the world for dinner, now the caveat is one of them does have to be a musician.
Okay.
Who would you want to sit down with?
Oh man. Ozzy Osbourne. Just because he's just one of them people I would love to meet him. He seems so out there and so kooky, but also at the same time so just like awesome of a person. And just getting to spend a dinner evening with him would be, I think, really, really cool.
And who would the other 3 be?
Probably George Washington would be one person I would like to sit down and talk and just meet. I'm a big history nerd, so I love all that kind of stuff, especially the American Revolution era. Him, probably Paul McCartney from the Beatles. Sit down with him, poke his brain, pick his brain a little bit. And lastly, Weird Al Yankovic. Just because technically speaking, Weird Al is actually the first artist I got into with music. He was the first person I listened to. So getting to say, hey, you kind of indirectly got me into music in a way would be kind of neat.
Did you watch the movie?
I have not, but I've heard some things about it.
He like parodied his own life. It was weird, but I liked it. But it was like, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but if you haven't had a chance, watch it. It's and the fact that Harry Potter plays him is.
I was going to say it's Daniel. Yeah, I'll definitely would like to check it out for sure.
Yeah, I watched it. I think the first day or second day it was available, but it's funny.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out because I watched his one movie he made back in the day, UHF or whatever it was.
I did too, but I don't remember.
I only vaguely remember like some parts of it, and the part where he like impersonated Rambo or whatever, like parodied Rambo, like that was like I like the only part like actually like sticks out for me.
So we're both kind of setting up segues. I'm gonna use um I'm going to use mine and trying to remember what you said because there was definitely something I was like, oh, that's a perfect segue. But for mine, let's say that down the road, it's time to make a rockumentary
Yeah.
about the Dragonfly effect.
Okay.
Who is going to play Matt?
Oh goodness, man, I have no idea. Oh, so probably the guy that is the lead character in You. Because apparently, according to people, I look like the guy from that show, You, and I'm like, okay, like I guess, but yeah, so I guess if I had to pick, I'd probably say that guy.
Oh, I
Whatever
remember
his name is. Yeah.
I remember what your segue was that you didn't even know you gave me. Okay, so you're leaving a gig, and as you leave, you notice there's a DeLorean sitting there with its door open and a flux capacitor in the back seat, so you can go back in time to anywhere in history.
Yep.
Where are you going, and what band are you going to hang out with while you're there?
I'd probably go like it does have to be like a specific like date and time or just like no, just whatever. That's kind of hard because part of me would like want to go back to like 2012ish and just like relive my life from that point on, which is not that like exciting. um, but I mean, maybe I'd go back to like the 80s, hang out with like Metallica whenever they were like getting started out and like starting to get big and stuff like that, and hang out with James Hetfield. And
I had no idea who they were in the 80s.
Yeah.
I would say 1993 was probably my introduction to Metallica.
Yeah.
And then I was like, where's this been?
Yeah, I guess I'd probably go back then, hang out, poke their brains a little bit,
Speaking of Metallica, have you listened to the new album?
I have not. I've heard mixed reviews on it, and I've heard all kinds of different things from people on it, and some people like it, some people hate it.
I did the Spotify thing when I should have been sleeping. I made it a couple songs in. I did like what I heard.
Yeah.
But I need to finish it, preferably when I'm not going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Which is no indication of the album at all. It's an indication of I'm constantly running.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. I feel that.
Can you pinpoint that moment in time when you realized you wanted to be in a band?
Yeah, it was kind of early on in like the transition from like middle school to high school. I got hooked on, coincidentally enough, Breaking Ben, and I I heard their album We Are Not Alone. That was like back in like 2004ish, 2005ish. And
that's when I started teaching.
I was in like 8th grade then, I think. So I heard that and I was like, wow, like who is this band? And like I just dove in head first, and there was just, it like lit like a fire in me I never knew I had. And I just started learning as much as I possibly could about, drums and guitar and bass and everything. And like, it just was like full steam ahead, and actually, I mean, like then soon after, like actually they were like one of the first bands I went and saw in concert in 2006 out at Post Gazette, KeyBank Pavilion, First Niagara, whatever you want to call it.
It's, what is it now?
I think it's back to
it's something Pavilion at Star Lake.
Pavilion. The Pavilion at Star Lake. Yeah,
but there's like they still have some branding ahead of it.
Yeah.
But they gave up on trying not to call it Star Lake.
Yeah, they tried so hard to not call it Star Lake to just go back and call it Star Lake.
Well, that's because nobody in Pittsburgh would call it anything but Star Lake. This guy included.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I had some interesting things happen there.
Yeah. I've experienced some interesting things there myself too. So I think a lot of people do.
I had a guy try and fight me and then punch like 6 people except for me.
Oh no.
I had a guy pass out in front of me while the first opener was playing, and the shirt he was wearing was for the headliner, and never saw them.
That
And
sucks.
and his girlfriend fireman carried him out up the hill over her shoulder. Um, yeah, some interesting things. At the I mentioned Motley Crue. That
Yeah.
was I saw them Carnival of Sins. It was the week of Katrina,
Oh, really?
Hurricane Katrina, and
Oh,
it
jeez.
flooded the walkway
Oh, no.
between the lawn and the
In the
pavilion
pavilion.
seats. And we when we left, we were walking through garbage floating, and it was so gross.
Ew.
But I keep going back.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel it. Yeah, same. I've experienced some crazy stuff there from like Warped Tour and all that, and seeing all kinds of different bands there. It's always, you never know what you're going to get there.
I mentioned that I'm significantly older than you, and this is going to clue people in even more. So I went to Kiss last year there, and my takeaway was that we parked in the VIP parking,
Mhm.
and we walked straight in at the top of the lawn and set our chairs at the top, and that was all the further we went in. And I was like, "This is great," because I didn't, and I got out of there in like 5 minutes. I didn't have to walk far. There was no hill. Yeah.
I mean, I respect that. I respect that. I do, because that is the way to do it. Yeah, just get in and then and get out.
In and out. Concert in the middle.
I like that. I dig it. I dig it.
I'm definitely starting to feel it. But I'm still going to local shows. I have a whole bunch lined up this summer that I'm headed to.
Yeah.
Some with music from the 412, some to take photos,
Mhm.
some just to hang out. My
Yeah.
kids are starting to get into the local scene, which is awesome.
Awesome.
But who's a band that you would suggest people go check out from this local scene?
Aside from us,
Yes.
definitely there's another band we perform with. You were at that show, Haven State. They
Yes.
are some of the best musicians I've had the pleasure of sharing the stage with and performing with. They are all around very kind, genuine people, and they are phenomenal musicians. So I
That's
definitely would advise people to check them out for sure.
Definitely a good suggestion.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't you tell me about the song Infected?
Yeah. So Infected is a song that went through a couple different iterations and variations, as I always do with everything I write, because I like to be complicated and arduous and cumbersome with the way I write, but I feel like that gets the best results. But yeah, Infected is a song that really came together pretty quickly, and this is the first song that we had a collaboration with on it, which was a big dream come true for me, because it's with somebody I grew up listening to, and he's performing on the song with me, and I'm like, it's just really cool. But yeah, it's a song that really, for me,
See, that was your chance to mention it, by the way.
Oh, well, okay. So that we collaborated with the former Breaking Benjamin drummer, Chad Zaliga. He performed drums on the track for us. And, it really helped just give it that extra punch and that extra oomph that song definitely needed, just because it's such a visceral, in your face kind of a song. And like I said, for me, that was a huge, huge dream come true. Just because, like I said, I grew up, watching him, listening to him, like all that stuff. So like, being able to have that experience and share that moment was just really, really just awesome. And I'm really grateful for it still to this day. We recorded that I think last March or April, and like it just came out this past March, so like we definitely sat on it for a little bit of time. But yeah, it's a song that carries a lot of weight, emotionally, lyrically, instrumentally, all of it. For me, especially the backstory behind it. Just there's just a lot of intensity with it.
All right, so what we are going to do is take a moment and listen to Infected, and we'll be right back with Matt.
It's almost time for the annual Fostering Music Summer Shindig. Fostering Music is a charitable organization dedicated to enriching the lives of children currently in or adopted out of the foster care system. We proudly partner with local foster care agencies to provide musical instruments and instruction in conjunction with local music stores. This year's Summer Shindig fundraising event features 2 days of local music and outdoor family fun. Come out and make a difference while having a blast. Rock for Life is proud to announce the beneficiary of this year's concert series, our 2023 rock star Scarlett. Scarlett was diagnosed with leukemia in January of 2020. She's currently fighting her second battle with leukemia and attends regular chemotherapy. Rock for Life aims to provide financial support for Scarlett and her family, with funds raised from our music festivals and concerts. Come out to a Rock for Life show near you. A great time for a great cause.
And as I mentioned earlier, teacher. So those two things kind of hit home for me.
Absolutely.
The Summer Shindig is a fostering music event, and what fostering music does is they provide instruments for children that are in foster home system.
That's awesome.
Which is really cool. And then
Yeah.
Rock for Life has been going on. I think this is the 24th year.
Dang. Yeah.
23rd or 24th year. And they have been raising money for children that are fighting very, very against a lot of odds. That's how I'll say it.
Very hard battles. Yeah, absolutely.
So the song, in fact, that you mentioned, the collaboration, how did that even happen?
Yeah. So, I mean, Chad actually found me on Facebook, and I posted like a early preview for Lost Inside at the time in like a Breaking Benjamin fan group or something like that. And he commented on it. I was like, hey bro, like cool riff, like, you know, something very, very easy and simple. And then he DM'd me and like he gave me his number and stuff. And then he called me. Then like it just one thing kind of led to another. Then, you know, I sent him some stuff I was working on. I was like, hey, like Infected happened to be one of them. I was like, here, this is kind of what I'm working on. And right away, right off the bat, he's like, bro, he's like, I'm going to play drums on this. And I'm like, okay. So he did it. And like, he did like the entirety of it. Like he did the entire song in like, I think like 2 takes. And I was like, wow. So yeah, it just spawned from Facebook, and, you know, it's amazing how it all happened. Just like that.
Now, where did you guys record the song at?
So Chad recorded the drums in his house. He lives out in like Wilkes-Barre, Shaverstown, Benton area. Everything else was recorded in my studio room I'm in right now. All the guitars, all the bass, all the vocals. I do everything in-house, in suite. Mixing and all that stuff was done by me. My buddy Brad Bernazzi, he helped out with some of that as well. And then one of Chad's good buddies, Valdi Martin, ended up fully mixing and mastering everything for us and gave it just that huge, larger than life sound.
Very cool. Before I forget, because I'm trying to get back to the theme of 3 questions in a song.
Yeah.
Because I kind of ventured away for a little while. So Hannah from Woodland Creatures was on episode 96.
Yeah.
And she had a question for you. I'm going to go ahead and let her ask it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my question, as you know, we were just talking about inspiration of where songs come from. So tell us about a unique or an interesting origin story for one of your songs.
So if I had to think, I mean, so a lot of the stuff I write sometimes can be kind of sporadic, you know, and kind of like off the cuff. But there was actually, when I was writing the song Colorblind, I think I had a dream that like I was literally like going blind, you know, or like going like partially blind, and like I think it was like in the dream I said something along the lines of like I'm going blind, and like my eyes were wide. Like that ultimately ended up becoming a lyric in the song, because like as soon as I woke up, I was like, I don't know what that was, but like I had to like write it down like right away, because it made sense, you know. So yeah, like Colorblind, that was inspired by like a dream. and also just like getting older and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely dreaming about going blind was probably one of the most like intense and visceral things I've probably written about.
I also gave you an assignment to ask anaphylaxis
Yeah.
question, which is the next episode's guest.
Yep.
And hopefully it's not how do you pronounce it, because I hope I'm saying it right.
Yeah, my main question for them would be, where would be the main inspiration that you guys drew from for the name, aside from having an anaphylactic reaction? What was the main inspiration for choosing that name?
And you know, like, it's funny that that's like, have you, when I think I sent you the link so you didn't have to search it.
Yeah.
There are so many bands with that name.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
All right, so a couple more questions for you, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
What does Dragon Effect have coming up next?
Yeah, so Dragonfly Effect, we have
Yeah, I messed that up. Let me re-ask that. What does Dragonfly Effect have coming up next?
Yeah, so as of right now, we are getting ready for our headlining demonstration at the Millville Music Festival next month, which is really cool, and it's a huge honor that they asked us to headline one of the stages there.
Which stage are you going to be on?
We're going to be on the VFW 118. It's an outdoor pop-up stage, I'm pretty sure. But yeah,
Friday or Saturday?
Saturday, yeah. We're doing a demonstration. May 20th is 8:40 p.m. I think is when we're going on.
I'm definitely going to be there on Saturday. I don't know about Friday yet.
Okay, yeah. So, if you're around, we'd love to have you there. We'd love to link up and say, hey, yeah. So we're prepping for that, and then we got a string of some shows demonstrations over the course of the summer. We're heading to Ohio in August. I'm pretty stoked about that. We got some stuff going on. Swirl Hill and some stuff like that going on over the summer. So
that's July 22nd, correct?
July 22nd, correct. We'll be headlining at the Squirrel Hill Sports Bar. September 2nd, we'll be at Brandy's Down Under, Brandy's on Main. We'll be headlining that one as well. In June, we were supposed to have a demonstration in Manhattan. That unfortunately got postponed and canceled. It was overbooked, and it was a big miscommunication. But yeah, aside from that, we're just prepping to get this EP/album out as soon as significantly possible, because a lot of people ask about it all the time. So I want to make sure that we get that out. But yeah, we're just prepping for shows and just writing.
That July 22nd show, I kind of get it from both sides. I do Squirrel Hill Sports Bar's website and
nice
media, and it's First Angel Media show.
It is.
So both sides.
Yep.
And besides dragonflyeffectband.com, which has been below me throughout the video, where else would you suggest the listeners and viewers go to check out your band?
Yeah, so they can follow us on all major social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our Facebook is, Dragonfly Effect Band. Instagram is at Dragonfly Effect Band as well. Twitter is Dragonfly Band, BND, because Twitter are weird with their usernames. So we had to improvise whenever we were making that. Yeah, we have a TikTok too. Follow us on there. That's a untapped outlet that we don't really use that much. Want to get back on that for sure. But yeah, all social media outlets, all that good stuff.
Very cool. Hey, Matt, I want to thank you for hanging out with me on episode number 97.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Don't go anywhere yet. Those of you that are checking out the show for the first time, this, as I said, is episode 97 of 3 Questions and a Song. I am also on episode, what am I at now? 668 of the Pennsylvania Rock. That one's been around since 2004. When you were in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And I do another live show with Jonna from First Angel Media and Tiz and Kat from xrpradio.co.uk. Those should start appearing again pretty directly. They kind of went on hiatus because my school schedule got in the way.
Yeah.
But those will be coming back. They are live on their station, xrpradio.co.uk, which is coming to you from Scotland.
Nice.
With that said, we're going to go ahead and end this episode, but make sure you check out buildascene.com for all of that. Also, music from the 412 and First Angel Media. And there's all kinds. You'll see that I have them linked all over the place on Build a Scene. Go there, you'll find it all. With that said, we will see you on the next episode with Anaphylaxis.